Hello everyone, this is Uzair Studio. Welcome to another episode of GIFF Talks 2022, a part of Gandhara Independent Film Festival. Today we have with us Murtaza Shakir. Murtaza is a very prominent name in advertising world. Uh, he has worked with many agencies such as Manhattan International, IL Saatchi, and others. He has an experience of more than 2 decades in advertising world, and now he also made films. So today we'll be talking to him about marketing of Pakistani films, their P&A budgets, and also how an independent filmmaker should market their film and what should they do to make it more available for everyone. So, hello, Murtaza, how are you?
Hi, Uzair, how are you?
And
Thank you so much for this lovely introduction. And I really want to, thank the Gandhara Film Festival and especially Kamran Naseem, for giving me this great opportunity to share my views on a subject that is very close to heart, as always. And thank you for this, screen sharing and screen presence, which I always love because I'm a person who loves limelight and I wanted to become an actor. So, it's always good to be like that.
so we'll start. Tell us about yourself. How did you get into advertising? Was it intentional? Did it happen?
Yeah, I mean, I have been part of this industry for the longest of time now. So it's been 22 years, as you mentioned also. The thing is that my entry into this world of advertising was just by pure stroke of luck. I think I just happened to be at the right time, at the right place. There are very interesting stories two very interesting stories that I usually, narrate on any platform that I'm, giving insight on. What happened was that way back, back in those days, it was late 90s. So I was, doing my chartered accountants. So I always had this inclination towards writing. So at that time, we used to contribute articles in the newspapers and, so there were only 2-3 channels and the broadcast media was just about to start, after the Musharraf era. So what happened was that I was working with this chartered accountancy firm. I was doing my article shoot. And somehow, I was very good in numbers, but my interest lied onto that other thing. So, this person, there was a very great, good gentleman there. He told me that, why don't you join advertising? So I felt that, anybody pays for writing. So, it was a revelation for me. So what happened was that by some reference, I ended up, and it's a very, I would not take names, but I went to this agency. The agency still exists, by the way. And I had no experience. I was very raw. I just, I still remember there was a piece of paper. I crafted something on it and I went on for that interview. And the woman there, she told me that, Mursa, we can't hire you because we can't, teach you. So though you may be very good, but I believe that you don't have a future here. So you better do your chartered accountancy, complete that, and do something else in life. And I, being myself, I always have been very passionate about my things. So I, told her that I respect your opinion, but I'll prove you wrong. So now what happened was she was a little, overwhelmed by my statement. And then finally, after, I somehow ended up in an agency. I started writing, I became a copywriter and I became a creative director. So, life went on. And so the interesting part comes in that after 14 years, the same person was chasing me for a very long while, and they were asking me to come and join their agency as a head of creative. And I don't, I remembered her. So I went on to meet her. And I said that, do you even recall who I am? No. Manika, I was the same person, you told 14 years back that I have no future in advertising. So, Anup Khir mein kehte na ki, you can do anything. in the show. So anyway, so I ended up here, and she was taken aback, and she said that, I mean, no, you are mistaken. There must be some other person. So, but then obviously, whatever, I think if you have the passion to do something, you can always, you have to believe in yourself, and then you can, nothing can, hamper your way for that. And one other story was that back in that, in those days, there was, I still remember, there was this classified section in Dawn newspaper where they used to post ads. So I saw a client service manager position, and I applied somewhere, and I went there for an interview. So the guy there told me that, why do you want to sort of come here? Because you're doing very well as a you're doing chartered accountancy, come on. So I said that, no, I love writing and I want to do this. So he said that, why are you sort of applying for a client service manager position? Because then I replied that I don't know how this industry works. So he was a very good gentleman. He said that, okay, we have a magazine, our editor is on leave. Why don't you join us as an editor? And there you go. My journey started from there. And I mean, it was a very humble beginning. And then today I'm here. It's been so many years. I mean, people don't even recall that story now, when we meet. So that's how it ended. So that's why I always appreciate people like you said yourself that, you were an engineer and you are doing this now. Because back in the days where, there were no, these media institutes were not there. So they were all dropouts from everywhere. So I was a dropout from, doing a chartered accountancy. So that's a small, little life journey
Good.
that I wanted to share.
That's quite a journey. So,
yeah.
Tell us.
I mean, I was lucky enough.
Yeah. So tell us about P&A, print and advertising of Pakistani films. How do they market their films? How much budget do they allocate? And also, who makes the decisions? Is it the distributor or is it the producer?
Well, I think in my point of view, what I strongly feel, we are very far away from budgets when it comes to project a film to the masses, because it's a very evolving industry we have. But having said that, I still believe that things are evolving at a very rapid pace, and some of the big players are working in this direction, especially the people who belong to the advertising industry, and now sort of have moved towards the film world. But still, and I think I would say that we have a lack of understanding of the film product in order to advertise it, because film is a very different medium to the brand world. But in terms of understanding it, we have to understand the brand world first. Why I say this? Because we are not building our film industry like the brand world we have. So where we do a lot of research, and we do a lot of insight based work. As far as who is responsible for this, I think in my opinion, it is the producer who can act as a custodian of the product and its entire mechanics. Because the distributor definitely has a very huge role to play, but all the the decision making power lies in the hands of the producer. So if the producer has a vision, he has the right insight in terms of how he needs to pursue this project, then I think everything goes according to the plan. So that's how it is. And I think in terms of the budgets, I mean, nobody is sort of because we are firing in the dark. We don't have an assigned specific, because we're still learning on this front. That's what I feel.
So okay, if we look globally, their films usually have marketing budget which is equal to their production budget, and also they have certain strategies for every film. What strategies does Pakistani film industries have, and also what roadblocks do we face?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there is none. So here in Pakistan, nothing of that sort exists, because we have no marketing strategy in terms of people that I know. Even if they're telling you that they have a strategy behind, they are following none, because they don't have a set footprint to follow. I think we don't even have an idea as to how to develop a strategy in terms of projecting a film, because as I told you, we are just firing in the dark. Uh, it's a kind of a romance that will never see the light of the day. So now, if you understand, if you look at our neighbors, for instance, they have a proper think tank behind, and they treat every project as a brand, and which obviously does wonders in the market. Unfortunately, we in the industry take inspiration. uh, I mean, if you see Pakistan, we don't have other cinemas. We have the only mainstream cinema. So we can't take inspiration. So we do, we take from random stuff, which is not enough. So as far as the roadblocks are concerned, I think the industry, I mean, I've closely known people, I've closely worked with people in the advertising sector. I am a little bit associated with the film world as well. So I think it's we are killing our own people, because what I've seen is that a few top-notch go-getters believe that they are only ones to change that landscape. So they don't let anyone or allow anyone to for that sane mind to come in and uh, do something extraordinary in terms of that strategizing, putting the right budgets. I mean, they just want to play their own game in their own place. That's why if you see all the pages on Facebook of the films, every film is a hit. Every film has crossed all the numbers. So why aren't the people going in to watch movies, right? So, I mean, you make one film like Three Idiots, or any, I mean, if I can recall a mass, Bajrangi Bhaijaan, right? Everybody will walk in. The word of mouth is enough. You don't need a marketing strategy. You need a good story. And that's what we are not working on. So I think there are problems, but marketing budgets can improve with time, but that will take time to develop. That's what I feel.
Okay, so coming to the independent films, how important is packaging for independent films, and also how should they package their films? They also doesn't have much budget, so how do they achieve their target?
I think this is a very important question, uh, considering the economic conditions here in Pakistan, and in terms of the awareness of film, because we as a nation are tied up in many other small nitty-gritties, right? For example, we have small issues in our lives. So in terms of film, again, watching a film, developing a story, writing a film is again something considered to be luxurious in Pakistan. It's not something a common man can do very easily, because he's tied up with other things. Uh, what I feel is that in Pakistan, you only get budgets if you're working under very influential man. And why I say influential, because if you are a very well connected man, and the veterans of the industry and few of the most capables that I know have struggled to survive, just because they don't have the right connections, or even if they have the connections, they don't have the right the right things to give in order to get that money. So I've hardly seen people who want to work on a parallel cinema, on good stories. Everybody needs a masala film over here. So, in terms of budgeting, yes, independent filmmakers do have challenges. But how I see it, I think independent filmmakers for these big guns are just like road vendors, for these big brands. Like if you see big brands and like road vendors, so why would they get a budget, or how would they package their films? I think uh, uh, until and unless they invest into their struggle in terms of those independent filmmakers, then only the landscape of the industry will evolve, because new players will be coming in. So my only advice to all young and filmmakers who are struggling and who find it difficult to package their things, I think you have to create great stories that pulls the audience like a magnet. Even that pulls the production houses and the producers. If you have a good story and a team who believes in your execution, I think then you need nothing except than that. So that's how I feel that it should be.
So, what avenues are available for independent filmmakers, for students' films, even on digital media with the limited followers? They cannot market their films as such. Are there any agencies available to help them? How do they market their films?
I think, I think because, I used to teach at LUMS and also used to teach at IBS. So I always said this one thing to the students. Once I asked that, who wants to make a film? So everybody raised their hands. And I said, who wants to write it? And nobody, So I said that if you want to make a good film, at least write a good film first, So, when you write something very prolific, you can hear a sound in your heart, a conviction, that you can feel. Okay, then again, it occurs to you, boss, this is it. This is it. So I think this is the primary thing one should do, and all young filmmakers should do. If it sounds good on paper, then nothing can stop it. So how many followers you have, how many connections you have, how many routes you can allocate, I think all will not matter if your product can speak for itself. So everybody will be after you, but for that, I think you need to, it takes time, and you need to show a lot of patience. And in this, primarily, in this market, in our side of the world, we have to connect to people in order to be noticed. And I think I feel that it's very difficult, yes, but if a product is very good, it will see the light of the day, because nobody can stop. It's like water, it will come from everywhere. So it's like talent. So I think that the avenues are there. You just have to wait for the right opportunity, and everybody gets an opportunity. I think you have to grab on when it comes to you. So that way, you can succeed. I strongly believe that if you, believe in your own self in terms of that passion, I think one day will come that you will change the land. And I've seen people doing that. I've seen myself, I was a nobody. And today I have made a name, at least in the ad world. Obviously, I'm making films also, but everything takes a little time. So you have to wait for it.
So, as you said, now that you have switched to filmmaking and storytelling, how did this happen? How did this transition happen? And also, how is this transition from being in creative for so many years and now to visual execution of it?
It's a very tough question. I've had it, in these last 4-5 years, because I've been part of the industry for 20 odd years, and it has always been a visual medium for me. As anything you do in this space involves thinking, rationalizing, and visualizing, the unknown that is not there. You have to create it. So for me, the greatest, I think, not in terms of work, but I think for me, the greatest transition has been to convince people who knew me since the beginning. They know I'm a great storyteller, but whenever you switch mediums and roles, you have to work your skin out to prove your mettle again. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I'm facing. I'm still facing. I'm still not there where I want to be, but they have moved a little. I mean, the people who are not accepting, they have shown a little acceptance since the last 1.5 years. And the funny part is that they all meet you, greet you, talk very highly of you. But when it comes to, getting you on a project, or it's difficult to penetrate. What I think, it's fashion, I believe. You need to stay in touch with these biggies. You need to uh, uh, I mean, in terms of PR, you need to work it on a lot on it. So it's unfortunate. What I believe is that if we would have promoted the right talented people for the right jobs today, uh, our industry would have looked very different. But somehow, because that's the route that you need to take. And I'm still, since the last 3 years, I've been working as a full-time director, and I've done a lot of 30-40 films, but the struggle will always remain. And even the nature of the business is such, because one bad film, one bad campaign in advertising, it can pull you down again. So you need to be there giving your best every time. So that's how it is. So yeah.
So how is it, from being in creative, now that you are visually executing all the stories, how does it feel?
I mean, as a storyteller, I think, sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you please again say it?
I'm asking, how does it feel? How does it feel to be in creative for a long time, and now that you're visually executing all these stories? So how does it feel to tell these stories?
I think being on the creative side as a storyteller have always helped me, because it's a transition from one end to the other. So if you're a writer, then you're a storyteller, you're creative director. So it's like a logical transition. So when today I direct films, when I visualize something, when I do something, so it always, the creative side sort of always helps. Now, what is the creative side helps in a way that you can imagine things. You know how to deliver the dialogues, you understand the medium, you understand the visual, how it's connected, how it's knitted together. So and the fact is that I wanted to become an actor. So I think all these things have helped me a lot. And I've also acted here and there. But when you are a director, you need to understand each and every space that is involved, because it's a collaborative medium. There is a camera, there is a unit, there is a writer. You need to understand everything. So if you understand all those, you have that ability, that aptitude to understand each and every aspect of filmmaking. So you can produce a very good product.
So now, as a filmmaker, what do you think about film festivals? How important film festivals are, and also why does the structure of film festivals doesn't exist in Pakistan?
Yeah, I think it is very integral for the world to know us, because film festivals definitely are very important in terms of showcasing a product. But it is very difficult in this part of the world to get your product on board. You need a lot of influential people. You need some great finances to back it up, showcase your work. So I feel there is no structure to it. It is like helping your own self and connecting to the right people for that. But I also believe that I mean, people have ventured their products in film festivals, and they have certainly also they're rising for that matter. But I still believe that these festivals are very important in terms of projecting projects from our country. But in terms of how you should do it, there is no set rules to it. There is no set path to it. If you have a good product, you have invested your own money, or you have taken a financer on board, then you have to project it to the right people. And this is the only way you can do it. If you feel that if somebody sort of brings in a structure, again, the modalities would be the same. You need a good product to be, known for. So that's how it is. I think, and it will take time for a structure to exist in Pakistan. It's right now mostly, these, influential people and the PR that you have. That's the only way to go about it. That's what I think. Or if somebody, if somebody believes in your talent, so you might rise and shine for that.
Great. So are you currently working on any project? Tell us about your future projects. Are you working on any film?
Well, these days, I have completed a few projects. Ads. I did develop ads for a few brands. There is this. I can't take names right now because that. I've done a film for real estate company. I've done something for a confectionery company. I've done something for a beauty cream, and I'm in the process of doing something for a client in Dubai. It's again, I can't name the product, but I'm in the process of shooting it. So I might shoot it in the next week. So and then other than that, I've been pitching my profile and work to people. And yes, I have written many good cinematic stuff, which I really want to showcase it to the world. But that's what I said. I'm still waiting for the right time to put it across. So, but it's there. I think it's something which I believe in, and if God gives me that opportunity to, so definitely I'll show it to the world.
Best of luck for those stories that you have written. I hope we get to see them soon.
Inshallah, yeah, definitely. That's what the intent is. And maybe, how soon it happens, I don't know. But it's there, it's good. And I believe that, cinema landscape will change if we bring in new stories, bring in new people. And for that matter, the biggest thing is that I want to give a message to everybody in Pakistan that, you do collaborate. It's not about young, it's not about being old. Collaboration is everything. If you see other parts of the world, and all good stories are wrapped up with personal experiences. If you get that on board, I think Pakistan has great potential.
That was great. Thank you so much, Murtaza, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you everyone for watching. Take care, Murtaza.
Thank you. Take care. Bye. Thanks.